council meeting to order and invite everyone to rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Phyllis, if we could have roll call.
Jim Collier.
Here.
Craig Koshaw.
Here.
Matt Dyer.
Here.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Here.
Wiley Sir.
Here. You were all emailed a copy of our minutes from our September 17th meeting. If you've had a chance to review those, I'd look for a motion to either approve or amend.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes from September 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. First thing we have on the agenda is a public hearing for our 2020 budget. So I would look for a motion to suspend the council meeting and then to open a public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second to suspend the city council meeting and open a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are now in a public hearing.
I'll just say that the total budget includes the tax cap of $408,871. Our total budget is $11,028,476 with an estimated tax rate of $1.45. That's per $100 of assessed valuation. They allow me to increase the levy by 3.5%. I went a little above that just to guarantee that we go to the maximum levy. And I did make copies by you guys, so does anyone have questions?
Comments from council? Comments from the public? This is a public hearing. Comments from the media?
You guys did a great job.
Thank you. Get a little closer, maybe it'll pick you up then. Excuse me?
What's the percentage up over last year? I can't.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
She can let you know.
I can get that for you though, if you want me to. Okay.
Anything from Tim? If not, I guess I would look for a motion to close the public hearing and re-enter the city council meeting.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing and re-enter the city council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So we're now back in our city council meeting, and the first thing we would do then is to introduce the budget ordinance for appropriations and tax rates for the year 2020. And this would be ordinance number
2019-14.
2019-14.
Okay, I'll make a motion to place ordinance 2019-14 on its first reading by short title only.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-14 on its first reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Tim.
Ordinance number 2019-14, ordinance for appropriations and tax rates.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-14 on its first reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2019-14 on its first reading. We'd have roll call vote.
Jim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-14 on its second reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-14 on its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance number 2019-14, ordinance for appropriations and tax rates.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-14 on its second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-14 on its second reading. Would have roll call vote, please.
Jim Collier.
Yes.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to table ordinance 2019-14 for its third reading at our next city council meeting. which would be
15.
October 15th.
I have a motion and a quiet second over here from the guy at the cold for tabling ordinance 2019-14 until our next meeting on October 15th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And we will bring that back up at our next meeting for its third reading. The next thing I have would be the final reading of ordinance 2019-13, authorizing the current refunding of the sewage waterworks revenue bonds of 2008. And do you have that, Phyllis? Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to place ordinance 2019-13 on its third reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-13 in its third reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance 2019-13, an ordinance of the City of Decatur authorizing the current refunding by the city of its sewage works revenue bonds of 2008, authorizing the issuance of sewage works refunding revenue bonds for such purpose, providing for the collection, segregation, and distribution of the revenues of the sewage works, the safeguarding of the interests of the owners of the sewage works refunding revenue bonds authorized herein, other matters connected therewith, and repealing ordinances inconsistent herewith.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-13 on its third reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-13 on its third and final reading. Could I have a roll call vote?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2019-13 has been adopted.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I will need council's, after talking with Crow, who is our financial advisor for the bond, they've asked if I can have approval to transfer money from the sewer operating fund of $24,395.55, and that's to cover for the refunding of the SRF bond, so I don't have to withdraw the CD that I've invested before it matures on November 16th. So the debt service reserve has to be, I've been investing it, so if we don't
You don't want to...
to pull that out and get the penalty and all that. So if I can transfer that before
I'll
the
make
end
a
of the
motion.
before we close it on the end of the month, and then I will put it back in the sewage operating after the CD matures.
I'll make a motion to do exactly what she just said.
I have a motion and a second to do what Phyllis said, and thank you, Phyllis, for being observant and spending our money wisely. All in favor of that? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Phyllis. Next, guess what? We have another ordinance. Introduction of ordinance for the capital improvement plan for 2020 and 2021. And Phyllis has that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to place ordinance.
Hold on. I'm going too fast.
Oh, are you?
He's still got 13 over here. Now, before we place this in for a reading, take your time, Phyllis. Preface it, if you would, Phyllis.
Okay. All right. Just to let you know that by Indiana code, the city is required that we have to make a plan for our capital improvement plan to use our economic development income tax. So council discussed in previous meetings, we have to go a minimum of 2 years. We could do 3, but we've always done 2. So it's for calendar year 2020 and 2021. So after figuring the cash balance on hand and what we're estimating to get for the next 2 years, it's 190 million.
Say it again.
1,190,000. I said that wrong. And then what we're going to put it towards is the FEMA pre-disaster mitigation program, up to 17% per year to go to Economic Development Corp. For planning and implementation of economic development projects. Money will go towards capital improvement plan, or capital improvements and economic development projects. and city sidewalk program and park improvement projects.
And we have 100,000 for the park there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, actually, well, park is 100 each year.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, each
Yes, correct.
So it's FEMA, capital improvements, city sidewalk, and what was the last one? Parks?
Here, what'd you just say? I'm sorry.
FEMA?
FEMA.
Seed it.
It goes to economic development,
Mhm.
capital improvements,
Yep,
and city
Sidewalk.
sidewalk and park improvement.
park improvements.
Yep.
Okay, any questions for Phyllis before we introduce the ordinance? If not,
I'll make a
Riley, take it
motion
away.
to place ordinance 2019-15 on its first reading by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-15 in its first reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-15, short title, Capital Improvement Plan for the City of Decatur for calendar years 2020 and 2021. Didn't get that out right.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-15 on its first reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-15 on its first reading. Would have roll call vote?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. Make a motion to place ordinance 2019-15 on its second reading by short title only.
I have a motion and a second to place ordinance 2019-15 on its second reading by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Ordinance number 2019-15, short title, A Capital Improvement Plan for the City of Decatur for calendar years 2020 and 2021.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-15 on its second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for passage of ordinance 2019-15 on its second reading. We'd have roll call vote, Phyllis?
Cam Collier,
Yes.
Craig Koshaw,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes. I'll make a motion to table ordinance 2019-15 for its third reading at our next city council meeting, October 15th.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to table ordinance 2019-15 until our next meeting on October 15th. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Leonard, Chief Lenny. You guys have been here once, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yes, sir. I brought them up to, just to kind of tell you that they are now Indiana certified. They graduated September 5th from the academy, and they are back in full force. Nathan Hunter is on day shift, and Dan McGill is on second shift. I was going to bring them last week, but obviously they've been going through a lot of training. They got their new ARs, they had firearms training, also a little FTO to get back in the car, get back in the swing of things. So far, they've been doing really good work, got some good reports from their sergeants, so that they are now on their own now, and driving around and answering calls and doing the thing that they're supposed to do. So, like I said, next January, Eric Mitchell will be going to the academy, but these two have done a tremendous job so far, and I'm very proud of what they accomplished in in the last year. So they're coming up on their year anniversary soon here, so time is going fast.
Well, first of all, congratulations on going to Indiana Law Enforcement Academy and
Thank you.
making it through that, what, a 16-week? So you got any anything you want to share from the academy? How was the food?
No comment.
No comment.
Everybody paid for it,
Yeah. I think just being away from the family was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
A lot learned, right? A lot thrown at you. A
yeah,
lot of worst case scenario stuff.
yeah, learned a lot.
So good. And did I hear that one of you did very well with an automatic weapon or something?
My firearm, I was third out of everybody.
Out of how many?
140.
Out of 140, Dan McGill was third.
And seventh.
And you were seventh.
Very good.
Well, geez, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both did excellent then.
Yep.
So congratulations on that. Congratulations on the graduation from the academy. And thank you for serving and protecting our community. Anything from any of the guys here?
Congratulations.
Just congratulations and thank you.
We have to say one thing about our chief. He was very supportive and gave us everything he got us through it. So.
Like, name one thing he gave you.
Food. Transportation.
I was set up to come down to your graduation, and then I got sprung on a meeting that night, and I backed out the day of. So I'm sorry. I've never been to one of the graduations, and I really want to come down to one. And intended to be there, but
Definitely a nice
Yeah.
ceremony.
yeah.
Yeah, I had dinner with them one night, and they were like just eating, like, wow, okay. And then they were real good about giving the receipts, because I'm the clerk's office. And I said, Culver's ice cream?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so they did a lot of PT, and they were doing a lot of good eating that night, because the morning breakfast and the afternoon lunch.
Oh yeah.
And I think sometimes they said they skipped it because it was so bad.
Very bad.
But, yep, they're back in full force, so we're getting there. One more next year, and we couldn't get them in the class after they graduated. It fills up real quick, so, but I just wanted to let you know that they graduated, they're certified, and, they've already been hitting it already. I think Dan just had an arrest recently, and Nathan's been busy on day shift, on service calls, and just doing a real good job, so.
Great. Appreciate both of you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in.
Congratulations, guys. Yep, congratulations.
Tall one is Nathan Hunter. Nathan, stay short one, take that.
Remember, he's a marksman, Lenny. Be careful what you say. That tasing.
Thank you.
Okay, Max, you're up. How about that? Max got a hold of me yesterday, wanted to know if he could be added to the agenda. Come in representing two different agencies. The first one, Decatur Main Street, and I believe he wants to kind of do an overview of the streetscape. Is that correct?
Well, just a quick, overview, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm Max Miller from Decatur Main Street, the design committee. Brian Clemens, yeah, he was supposed to be here too, but I guess he must have forgot.
He's got little kids. That that happens.
But I do want to thank all those involved. I did a fantastic job. Those who put together, I mean, not just the plans, because that was us, but I mean, the work and Jeremy and all those, that it looks fantastic, and we've got a lot of compliments on the first phase between Madison and Monroe Street. Our committee worked with the downtown plan that was approved by council a few years ago, as well as notes from the public forum that was part of the Stellar grants when we did that. That's where most of these ideas came from what you see out there today. I mean, we talked with numerous downtown business so we could put together and have a great plan implemented for the streetscapes. Our organization was established to help take the burden off of City Hall to do the legwork for the planned revitalization of downtown. And one thing I was hoping you guys do understand. At this time, we ask that if any organization, group, or individual comes to you with some ideas or plans for downtown, that you kind of send them our way, just so that we're not duplicating some things that we're already working on, or that we don't kind of mess up the original plan. I mean, we're open to ideas and different things, but just, that we don't become a hodgepodge with the downtown once again, and those kind of things. I guess that's pretty much what I was here to say. I mean, we're working currently on phase 2. By 2022, I think the plan is to be all the way down to 5 Points. So right now, I think the next phase will be between Monroe Street or Madison Street and Jefferson Street. Monroe Street and Madison Street.
Madison and Jefferson. Yeah.
There.
That's a
And
long
working
block
on
on the
those
one
ideas
side.
and working with some of the businesses along there with some ideas, what they have, and then we're able to present that to you before and ask for some money, and those kind of things, to try to get that done, hopefully next summer. And work with Jeremy. We've got to get Jeremy invited to some of those meetings and get working on that. I mean, that's basically it. Like I said, we're trying to get all the way down to by points, by 22 for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, continue to work with Jeremy so that we can kind of come up with a figure for what it's
Right.
going to cost us.
Yeah,
If that's the next phase.
Right.
And I know there's, that includes the courthouse area, and that's an area that I think we want to kind of discuss, not only here, but with possibly the county as well. So,
Right, that would take some coordination there
Right.
too.
right.
But also not forget Jackson
Oh, yeah.
and Rose Street too.
Nope, not going to forget that.
Yeah, it's part of, it's one of the bases, yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions for Max?
I just, by your comments, are there specific things that you have in mind or that have coming that you feel that other groups are?
I mean, there's a few things that have been brought up and that we are working on some plans. One is bike racks. I mean, there's always been a plan not to have bike racks downtown on 2nd Street, because there is an ordinance, unless you guys change that you're not even supposed to be riding your bike on 2nd Street. I mean, we are looking at a plan to put like a bike route on 3rd or 1st Street in those directions more, so that we keep bike racks in the alleys or behind, not on 2nd Street. I did notice this summer when I was walking down to the concerts, I'm dodging bicycles who are riding, even though the street was closed, they're riding on the sidewalks, and it gets, I don't know. Well, hopefully with a revitalized downtown, we have a lot more people on the sidewalks, and we don't want to be dodging bicycles, and not encourage them by having, bike racks.
But we also don't want to discourage bicycles.
Well, I agree 100%. That's why I thought we would have.
That's why we need to have a bike route for the downtown area, and
Right.
not include 2nd Street, either 1st or 3rd, or...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, 2nd Street is really hardly widened enough
Right.
with parking and everything.
And too, if you're asking, I mean, they're talking about, it was brought up at the forums about the planters that are downtown, that some people did not like to see those return onto the sidewalks, that we have other ideas for that.
You have other ideas, you say?
Well,
Or you're asking
pretty
us
much
if
what
we
you
have other
see.
ideas?
No, pretty much what you see. I mean, the black park benches, trash cans, I mean, pretty much, and the few trees and those things.
I have a question
Sure.
about that, or
Yep.
at least I have a thought that I think needs to be brought forward. We have sponsors for the flower pots up through this year. We've got people that are obligated to decorate them, tear out the flowers and decorate them for the fall and then on into Christmas. I would like to get those replaced back on 2nd Street because they're not being maintained along Madison Street at this time. You know what I mean? Where they've been put out because of the sidewalks. So I'd like to at least continue that through this year so that we can continue to decorate those through the fall and winter season. Because people sponsored them.
Thoughts? Discussion?
Where are they now? You got them on
1st Street, Madison Street, between 2nd and 3rd. There's about 8 that are
Is that what we have?
displaced.
About 8 of them?
We have 28
Okay.
throughout the town, but I'm
rest of
just
them
saying 8 of them have been, I think it's 8 or 9 have been displaced.
are From this one block, yeah.
And I have sponsors and their logos on it. I'd like to get those back into place if possible and tear out the vegetation and redecorate for
That's something
October.
that needs
And
to
then,
be, and I agree with you, but then at some point in time, we have to evaluate long-term what to do with those flower pots. Do they stay? Do they go? If they go, where do they go? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something that you, the design committee, would want to look into?
Well, we can look into it. I know of, in the past, like Larry Ish from the park, he said they could take on like the Legion Park and some of those places too. But, I mean, that was...
We got 28 of them, that's a lot of them to play.
Well, yeah, number, I don't know. But,
You want them back on 2nd Street, Craig, or you
For
want
now.
them back out?
we don't have any trees planted. I don't know when that's planned to do. But I've got sponsors along 2nd Street. Rebecca Cochran said to me last week, "Hey, when do I get my plant back? We used to take care of it. Now it's gone. It's been gone a month. When is it coming
And
back?"
she's a sponsor of it too, probably, right?
Well, yeah, and so is Icorn Jeweler. I mean, all up and down the... I'm just getting questions, and I'd like to get it replaced, at least for the year, through the year, so that I fulfill my obligation that the Chamber and Main Street has done for the for the flower pots. If you don't like them, or somebody changes their mind, we don't do it next year, or somebody else takes care of it. I don't care. But I've obligated people for a 1 year.
This year. They paid a sponsorship.
April or March, April.
For these.
Yeah.
So if we come up with a better idea, I'm willing
Comments
to...
back there, Jeremy? Is it better?
They need to go back on due to the sponsorship,
Yeah.
because they paid X amount per year.
But
I agree with Craig, you know, we probably need to get it put back until we get a handout this year.
Don't get me wrong, some of them are getting old, and if we come up with, the design committee comes up with a different arrangement or something, that's fine with me. I'm not arguing, I'm just saying, I feel an obligation to those that have
paid. Would council like the design committee to come up with a plan for 2020? Yeah, for those pots?
Well, I think the plan is what we adopted, is that they're not to be put back there. So I get the problem right now is that people have paid to have them sponsored and put out there. So that might be the compromise, but I think it's pretty clear that the plan was there weren't to be there. Now, I don't know if that means they're to be replaced with a different style pot or no pots at all. But we don't have
Sculptures.
we don't have benches yet, right?
We don't have benches yet. Were they ordered? I thought someone told you said that.
I didn't say that.
Okay. I thought they did.
Jeremy shaking his head this
I
way.
didn't have any money in the budget.
Okay, James. I thought I heard there was 5 ordered, but I don't know. Okay.
So benches and trash cans?
Benches, trash cans, sculptures, and the trees, that's what would be returning. Just all family slides, those things.
Kind of take a look at those sculptures back on the sidewalks, is the rust and stuff that comes off the sculptures and stain the sidewalk and the brick and stuff, so, we're gonna have to take a, kind of look at sculptures for a time and keep it going into that. I don't think it's gonna spend all this money in the downtown and have rust, everything running all the sidewalks. We have a real bad problem down across from Charlie's French Shop, one down there in the sidewalk, all stained up, not being painted, that with the
Yeah.
weather and everything.
That's the part of the art, but yet again, it does bleed all over everything, so.
No, I get that,
Yeah.
I agree it's part of the art, but you're also putting a lot of money into downtown.
Yep.
But if I'm hearing, and let's go back to what you originally asked for, is that before things get put back into place to incorporate the design, or not design, the Main Street organization, who we have asked to manage the look and feel of our downtown. But, correct.
Right, that's what,
So
it's
before
just asking
these
you
things
to
are
support
done-
what, I mean, you've already approved the plans
Mhm.
a couple times. The original downtown plan, and then when we came back to the streetscape.
And I think that's where we come and say, okay, again, what was the purpose of Main Street, and why did we give them this task? We gave them the downtown plan that we paid for and adopted, and we said, you're responsible for implementing it. So we need to let them do what we asked them to do.
Agree.
So if that incorporates, okay, what happens, what goes back out there, I don't necessarily think that's our role, is my point.
Right. So, yeah, Max, I guess between now and early December, if it would be, might behoove you to come back again and kind of talk about the plan for 2020 with specifically the pots, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, are you talking about putting them back for the
Yes.
balance of the year?
Yes. I think we have to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeremy will take care of that. Yeah. Okay. That was one thing Max came for this evening. I think there was a second thing that Max came up here for, and that has to do with the Historical Society.
Yeah, this coming weekend, we start one of our fundraisers, the Haunted Mansion there at the museum, and also the event for the Haunted Decatur wagon tours. And we kind of going to move from where we usually took the wagon out to the alley part. But that does present a problem. We're just asking if we could have no parking from the alley there on the east side to the light. Most of that's no parking anyways when you get to the light at 5th Street. But it's mostly right in front of that one building, belongs to the museum anyway, because nobody's home or anything. It
Yeah.
would just be, we just need a couple of those where people do park. Some signs maybe if the police department could, the same ones they use for California, and they send down that way maybe.
Lenny, do you have some signs that the Historical Museum could use on Friday nights?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturdays? Okay. Max, just see Lenny and
Okay.
he'll hook you up, and then you guys can put them out, take them back down.
And I did want to inform Lenny too that if he sees a few suspicious characters downtown, maybe at the depot and at the down by the Boys and Girls Club, that they're just part of the program and not
Part of the tour.
yeah. So I mean, I know the police have visited them a number of times over the years.
Well, Max, just while you're here, pumping your program here, why don't you just, for the media's sake and whatever, tell about the haunted tour and also the wagon, you know, how to make reservations, how to
Well, if you still
how
want
much
to
it
take
costs?
it, maybe a little bit late because they're pretty much sold out.
Are they? For the wagon tour they are?
For the wagon.
Yeah.
But the Haunted Mansion is going to be open Friday and Saturday nights, starting at 6. For a haunted house there, the fundraiser, which is one of our biggest fundraisers there at the museum, which it does our operating costs pretty much for the whole year. So.
I think I've went through the last 2 years, and I don't know if I want to do it this year because I get scared to go too easy in there. Plus, they pick on me. They know who I am, so they always kind of pick on me and single me out. Somebody jumps out at me. Anyhow, but it is a lot of fun.
But the wagon tour, it is in its 9th year, so I don't know how much more they'll do. I did. Haunted Decatur wagon tours.
It's pretty cool, too. It really is. Yeah. Max, well, I don't know who the guy is that's up there, but he's some guy that's all dressed up and tells stories about crazy things that's happened over the years.
The guy with the
White-
white beard. The guy with the white beard.
And the cape and the hat, yeah.
There's been a lot of crazy things, I know.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you got anything else, Max?
No, I do that.
Thank you, Max. Thanks
Thank you.
for all the community
One more
work
plug.
that you do.
Like to thank Max for putting together the clues for the Haunted History Mystery Tour that will be available probably next week downtown to go around the downtown area. He prepared all the clues, and we'll get all that out. Maps will be located in the sculpture tour box on the courthouse.
And,
I think they removed that other one, right?
You've done this the last couple, 3 years, right? And it's
Yeah.
kind of, a lot of people have a lot of fun doing that.
Yes. It's another thing that's also in our Califumpy, and those got passed out throughout the whole community today. You can pick them up at City Hall and also at the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Okay, at the Board of Works meeting, I mentioned the Southeast Elementary School, and the Board of Works suggested that we ask the school system for an extended period of time to look to see if we have a need for it. I need to bring this before the entire council for the same thing. If it's okay with council, I would look for a motion for me to address the school's attorney and superintendent to see if we can get some additional time to look into the school.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's that. Melissa, where'd she go?
She left the room.
With Max? She's up. Tim, did you have anything before that? I don't think you had anything else, did you?
No, other than just a couple of brief comments. We are going through the process of the flood buyouts. We went through 14 offers. 12 have been accepted. 1 was refused, and we're waiting on 1. We've got 3 or 4 yet to make, but we're pleased with how things have gone up to this point, especially in light of the fact that we're not in a position that we can offer the full average of 2 appraisals, because property values when we applied for the grants back in 2016 compared to today have gone up. So the pot of money that we sought to begin with is less than what we actually need. So we had to make some adjustments, but people have been very understanding, and they're still accepting the offers.
Yeah.
The offer that was refused, was it because of that?
No.
No, it was It was because I think it was just overwhelming for,
Interest.
yeah, they decided it was just best, they wanted to stay where they were.
Any update on the Evergreen, the money for that?
We are still waiting on
waiting
our
on-
state and local agreement. I've asked Rod if I could contact Indiana Department of Homeland Security, and he would prefer to do that himself, because the last time I did, Rod really got his hands slapped because the mayor's out there
Right.
asking questions. So, long story short, they're not happy with us because we went
Are
to...
they just dragging their feet?
We think so.
I mean,
Yeah, we think so.
we still, most likely, we will get it.
Oh, yeah, we're guaranteed to get it.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's a matter of
Right.
time.
Just a matter of
It's
time.
just frustrating for the wait.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's actually part of the reason that we're in this situation with the residential floodplains, because
Yeah, it should have been done last.
we would have been a lot closer to the
Yeah.
mark
Yeah,
had we been doing this in 2017 and 18.
yeah.
I'd like to extend the invitation to the council to set in on one of these last 4 meetings that Tim makes the presentation. They're really exciting. Tim just keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire
I'm
time.
sure I do.
Kurt has attended most of them. Hearing them 14 times.
I want to hear you do it in short time, Mark.
All right, I will.
14 times in 2 days. Kurt and I about went nuts.
Problem is, they hear it repeatedly. The people I'm talking to, it's the first time they hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And the
they,
people that are hearing, in all honesty, you know, they're sitting there on pins and needles, not knowing what's going to get offered to them, and you know, Tim paints this doom and gloom picture, telling them that we only got this big of a pot of money, and it's not enough to cover all the appraisals. We're only going to give you 94.5% of what the average of the 2 appraisals were, and the people are like thinking it's going to be bad. But then when we tell them the figure, because the values have went up so much, then they get a smile on their face for the most part, and I think half of them accepted right on the spot, and the other half have been coming in daily, accepting the offers. So it is neat to sit in the meeting and see the people when they get their offer, because it is a very fair offer. It really is.
it is. And in some ways, some people, it's a sign of relief on their part.
Yeah.
And others, they wanted to think it over carefully before they made a decision. Some were anxious just to get out of the flood area.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Tim. I was going to and didn't write it down, so I totally forgot.
On the finish line purchase, is that going to be taken out of sewage?
I would suggest that we pay for the 2,600, whatever it is, for the land on Monmouth Road from the sewer funds. Kevin Shigan said no yet, Kevin.
I
Yes.
think we discussed that already. That's what we're going to do.
It's the most logical place to take it, I think, so.
Okay.
We have to do anything about that?
Need a motion?
I'd do a motion just
Okay.
to authorize it.
Authorize pay it out
I'll
of-
make a motion to authorize paying the acquisition of the land property out of the sewer fund.
Second.
Motion and a second to pay for the property on Monmouth Road from our sewer funds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. We got one aye? Yeah. Okay, one no, I mean? Okay.
Tyler.
The last thing I have here, Melissa, we discussed this at the Board of Works meeting. It needs to be brought before City Council as well, and it is in reference to the city possibly applying for a grant and a long process that it takes to get to that. The grant would be something that would go toward the Northwest Elementary School facility for further education. And go ahead, Melissa, talk about Okra and the grant.
OCRA, which is the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. That's the agency we applied for the Stellar funding through. And they have a grant program called the Public Facilities Grant Program. And one of the eligible activities through that fund is for something like a learning center. So with Northwest Elementary in mind as a possible place for career learning and that sort of thing, we've been looking at this OCRA grant. So One of the ways, there's two ways you can be eligible for this grant program. One is through blight, and the other one is through low to moderate income. And we would have to qualify through the low to moderate income. Currently, our percentage for Decatur is not the required 51%, and so the measure that we could take would be to conduct an income survey in the city of Decatur and to see if we would get to that 51% eligibility. So a couple of things I didn't mention earlier. The grant funding can be used for interior construction and permanent items. So if there needed to be amped up electrical to accommodate different welding equipment, if there needed to be improved audio-visual equipment for any kind of training, signage, those kind of permanent things that would allow career training activities to happen in the school, those are what we can say, that's what the grant funding money could be spent on. As far as the income survey is valid for 5 years from the start date. So depending on how this moves forward or if the city decided to apply for the grant, should we hit the income survey percentage, again, that income survey would be good for a period of 5 years.
I got a question I was just thinking about. So if the idea is that this center is to be a county-wide thing and a broader than that, surrounding counties, will we be better off to have a low to moderate income study done for the county?
We spoke about that. Right now, the percentage for Decatur is 38.86. The percentage for the county is 38.81. So it's a very similar percentage. As far as the income survey would go, it would
We got a lot more work.
expand the pool of addresses that we would have to survey. Now, just because if Decatur was an applicant, it wouldn't preclude Adams County residents from being eligible for classes there. So the purposes of the income survey going with Decatur is a little bit smaller.
It was thought it'd be simpler to keep within the Decatur area, because then your pool would enlarge
Right.
if you
That's
went
not
to
to
the
say
entire
that-
county. And since both percentages were almost identical, it's not like we would have gained a lot more going countywide.
Right. The other with that is that if you went in with a countywide survey, I think Okra would look at it from a perspective of the county should be the applicant. And
Second part of the question.
county applicant, city building, those are things that could probably be managed, but
It
those
could
are all
send red
points-
flags.
Those are all points to think about.
Yeah.
But
So
there
let's
needs
say
to
we-
be some uniformity in your income survey, your applicant, ownership, that kind of thing.
Let's say we do the survey, and the low to moderate survey, income survey, and it comes back and we're like 47%.
We wouldn't qualify, and so we would not be eligible for this grant funding for the purposes of
Did
Northwest.
Andrea, though, encourage us to apply anyhow, or not? Even if we didn't?
You are not eligible to apply if your low to moderate income percentage is below the 51%. It's not even a,
So it's all a matter of luck of the draw, really. If a computer or whatever generates the addresses we're going to survey, and there's roughly 200 or so that we have to survey, it's total luck of the draw. If it's, so it could come in at 25%, you know, if it's, yeah. All right. So yeah, the Board of Works voted to move forward with this, but I'd like to bring it before council as well. Tell a little bit more about what happens after that if we are
right.
at 51%.
Should we hit the 51%? Okra has grant funding. I would recommend applying in 2020. There's grant rounds in the spring and in the fall, depending on when the project is ready. What Okra's what they would also like to see in the application is that a feasibility study has been done that includes a plan for the facility that assesses what's already there, sustainability, those things to make sure that it's a facility that the city has really thought about and planned for the future.
So we're looking at out-of-pocket costs right now would be income survey and potential feasibility study, just to even apply. And I think this makes sense. I think going down and applying, it's kind of force us to get our plan in place, to go after this grant. But then that also just begs the question, is that feasibility study fully the responsibility of the city?
And that was in discussion too, that there could be other entities that would pay or share with that cost.
Really, only thing she wants right now was the approval to do the survey, right?
Income survey.
Right.
And then it was, right, yeah.
And then you say you can do the survey with the help of a few people, so we're talking a couple $1,000s to do the survey, or?
It would be my time doing the survey. And I would think if we needed to recruit some volunteers to help us complete the surveys, we could do that. I don't know that we would need to incur a cost for that.
I'll make a motion to
I'll second
proceed
it.
with the survey.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to proceed with the low to moderate income survey study. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't have any other items on the agenda, but I did want to just report one thing, and that is that before we moved into this building and we met over at the old City Hall, Al Bedwell, better known as Clyde, started coming to our council meetings, and then we moved over here, and second row, first chair, was kind of Clyde's place here at our meetings, and he continued to come to our meetings. A lot of us thought maybe he was looking for something negative that we were doing, that he could catch us in the act of something, but in time, actually, Clyde became, I think, a fan of how government works, and he started interacting at our meetings and maybe making some suggestions and talking to all of us outside of here, and it was always kind of good to see him here, you know. And unfortunately, here last week, go back about 6 months ago, and he had had a mild stroke. And since then, he hadn't been coming to the meetings. And unfortunately, as I started to say last week, Lenny called me, and his brother had been trying to get a hold of him and wasn't having any luck, and checked on him and found him passed away in his home. So to the Bedwell family, although I know that it's a pretty small family, Clyde was never married, but he has a brother in, I believe, Monroe, and another brother in Florida. I want to extend my condolences to the Bedwell family. And like I said, we'll miss seeing you out there, Clyde.
Mayor, if I can add to that, he passed, they think, Thursday. Tuesday, he managed to make it up to the jewelry store and made sure to give me an earful about 2nd Street and all that we're doing right and all that we're doing wrong. And Clyde was great on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So that's all I have. Let's go to the department heads. Lenny? Les? Kevin?
Water main on High Street is in. We're starting to tie over services this week.
That's great to hear, man. It's great to hear.
Water plant is coming along, the slab is poured, building is being delivered this week, and starting to be assembled and erected.
Yeah, question for you. All the pipe that's laid out there on East Monroe Street, where does that go? I mean, obviously it's going in the ground, but where?
It's coming from the water plant to the intersection of Country Brook.
Is it going to be on the north or south side of the road, do you know?
It is on the south side, the majority, and then I believe it jumps to the north side. I'm not exactly sure where. I think it depends on what utilities they're running through, how busy it is on the south side.
Dog or board?
Board.
Let's go look at High Street, that's what's going to look like.
But High Street, we're within a day or two of turning the water on that main.
Some of the services can be turned over as soon as tomorrow. We have some samples that have to be passed first.
Right.
The middle section, the two ends, pass.
Going to get messy.
And once that middle passes, we'll be able to start signing services and use this way.
That's great to hear. Long time coming.
Great to hear.
Kurt? Jeremy?
Next Friday, October 11th, will be the last day for yard waste collection, preparation for the fall leaf collection. I don't want to
Brooks Construction is in town. Going and paving in the process.
Collection.
Grant we received last October the 7th, actually, last year. That should be completed around the 14th, I believe, of this month.
That's more great news to hear.
Yep. We are waiting to see if we receive it around probably this week. Also, work continuing in another one. We're waiting lots of time here for some bids to come in. Whether that is what work.
What'd you do out there today?
First time.
All 6 fields, the grass in the outfield got mowed today. So,
They sure desperately needed it. That grass is really looking nice.
good to hear. Carrie? Mr. Carbach? Melissa?
I'm going to speak about the 13th Street.
The feasibility study, yeah, our redevelopment commission hired Butler, Fairman, Seifert to do a feasibility study on 13th Street just to see how we could enhance the 13th Street corridor from Winchester Road all the way out to basically Walmart area. And it was for travel safety, pedestrian safety, bike safety, signage, wayfinding signage, etc. And we had a couple of public meetings. Butler, Fairman, Seifert put together all their data and information, called for a public meeting to show that information to everyone, and we had that meeting here about a month ago at the Riverside Center, and I think, as Bob wrote in the paper, nobody came. I think there were a total of 14 people there, including Bob and me, and those that were involved in it, and unfortunately, I think there was one person that could have represented a 13th Street business. So we've dropped back 10, and we're going to punt and try it again. And we put out another letter to 13th Street business managers and owners, and we're going to have the meeting October 9th at 3 p.m. at Angel's Bakery, right there on 13th Street. And we've been getting a lot of RSVPs for 13th Street businesses to come this time. We tried to make the letter a little bit more urgent in that it really does affect all of them. We'll see how that goes that day. I had a phone call today from one business owner that was all concerned about what we were going to do in front of his business. So he'll be there, and it'll be good to hear what everybody thinks of the plan. And again, this isn't cast in stone or anything, but it's just the plan, the initial plan that Butler, Fairman, Seifert's thrown out there. I would encourage council members, if you're available on that day, October 9th at 3 p.m., to attend. And also, just anyone from the general public that cares about the 13th Street corridor, even though you may not have a business there, it would still be good information to get everyone's input. So, anything to add on that, Melissa? Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Anything else?
I think Craig will probably cover all the events
All right.
happening in the
Craig, we got anything going on in this town?
We do. We've got the Highland Games kicking off Saturday at 11 o'clock. You'll start hearing some boomers, so don't think there's any bombs going off, Lenny. Keep your squad. But they'll make a little bit of noise out there. And then the bagpipes and drums will be playing from 11 until noon. If you would, could you have a couple guys possibly drive by? We're going to be setting up Friday evening or Friday afternoon during the day, because we'll have cauldrons out there and a lot of stuff, tents and everything else. Also, that should preclude, I would assume, around 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Thanks to the city employees for helping us with the bleachers and some of the things and mowing and set up. We got the field striped last night, and we'll start getting things set up closer to the end of the week. Also, we had to cancel a Hubie Ashcraft concert last Sunday, and we've rescheduled it for this Sunday between 4 and 5.
Is around 4 o'clock okay?
Yeah. Well, I'd do it at 3:30 or something. So he's going to have a warm-up time.
Okay. Well, just prior to the start of the concert, maybe 3:45-ish or something like that, we want to if you've noticed down here on Madison Street, hanging on the wall of the Community Foundation, there's a nice plaque that
Why do you want me to move it?
kind of says a gathering place, the Madison Street Plaza at the top of it. And it lists all the major donors that gave to make the Madison Street Plaza possible through the Patronicity campaign. And we want to kind of have a dedication to that, or an official unveiling of the plaque just prior to the start of the concert. So, and I checked with Craig, and we'll make that happen. I don't have an exact time, but sometime just prior to the concert beginning. Anything else, Craig, got going on? Californian coming up?
Yeah, California flyers are out all over the county. They're orange, and it's got all the events that are going on for the month of October. The parade will be the 28th, which is the Monday, 6:59 p.m. or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then trick or treats on the 31st.
Okay.
If you need any of those, do you have some here at City Hall, Melissa?
We do that on the counter.
And we've got some additional ones at the Chamber of Commerce if anybody needs them. But they're all over town. Local vendors, we got 20, 25, most of them.
Wiley?
Also, Saturday, October 5th, 2nd Street Lofts, during the day, starting at 10, has their open house. And then at 5 o'clock, 2nd Street Lofts and Main Street downtown investment celebration. They have artists, and it's from 5 to 8 o'clock in the evening, reception, and different artists at 2nd Street Lofts.
Okay.
So that's kind of an all-day thing, too.
Will they be utilizing the first floor, or
Just the first floor.
just the first floor?
Yeah. The tour, they'll be doing tours during the day,
Okay.
but just the first floor.
Okay.
Saturday, October 5th.
That's just Saturday?
Yeah.
I have a comment about the law. My son's an artist, and he was trying to do there. He made a comment, he was with Smith Brothers, and the percentage made the rent very high, and then he was also told that we couldn't have a roommate because their income would be too much. So that, discouraged him altogether. So I don't know, are they selling up, is the price that they're charging?
That really is handled through 2nd Street Lofts, big.
Okay. Big,
So, yeah, so that's where I would suggest you ask those questions.
Yeah. Melissa, can you comment on that? I mean,
I can talk to you about it.
yeah.
Where do we stand on the Hive construction?
Well, the last meeting, I think it was the last meeting, we voted down the proposal from Hamilton Hunter, and we're just kind of waiting it out. We're going to put it back out for bid at a later date for construction this winter. That's something I guess we need to decide when we want to put it out for bid again. And as I said, MKM said that they would rewrite the specs to meet our standards, and at no charge to us, and help us with the whole bid process again. So maybe I should get a hold of Corey Clark and ask him, what time period he thinks would be best for us to put that back out. Make sense?
That's been, that was, this is the board works last week.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm with you now.
Yeah. Any other comments? Phyllis, what do you have?
That's one for the Decatur Fire Department.
Decatur Fire Department. Okay, Decatur Fire Department's having an open house. It is October 9th?
Yeah.
It's October 9th. A lot of things going on that day, October 9th. That's a Wednesday, out in front of the fire department. Event starts at 4:30, runs till 7:30. They've requested 7th Street, Jefferson Street to Adams Street, Jefferson Street, 7th to 8th Street all be closed. That's all been okayed, signed by Les, Jeremy, Chris Bright signed it, so we're good to go there. Just a matter of okaying the event form.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion and second to approve the open house at the fire department on October 9th, and I'm surprised Les didn't endorse this a little bit, but yeah, let's get something in the paper for him, folks, and let's get a good attendance there. Thank you.
Do we need to approve it?
We did.
We already did.
Gotcha.
Anything else from anyone? If not,
Make a motion to pay the claim.
second. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a few concerns. I live out at the Homestead Edition, and it's really, really dark out there at night for evening walking for adults. And I'm like really fear my safety when I take evening walks. Is there any way to address getting more street lamps out there? There's very few. It's very dark out there.
We have a street light need all around Decatur. And Jeremy is aware of it. Jeremy is in charge of the Public Works Department. Jeremy's aware of it. We didn't replace any old poles for quite some time, and now we have an inventory of street lights on very old poles that need replaced. And it's something that we know we need to address. Are there some lights out there that are just out?
I think the one in front of my house keeps flickering out. Okay.
Yeah. But as far as adding any new poles with lights in the near future, probably not, unfortunately. As much as we'd like to light the whole city up better, but, yeah. Anything else from anyone? If not, did I have a motion to pay the claims?
Mr.
Oh, Mr. Becker. Good to see you again.
I just want to thank all of you for everything you do for the city, you know, the guys that work, department heads, and everybody work for you. As far as I'm concerned, well done. I'm going home. Don't let cookies get me.
Hey, tell your wife she's the best.
Yeah, I can handle that.
All right.
You tell Ruth. Don't you take the credit.
Yeah. See you, Bob. I think I had a motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Did I or not?
Yes, Wiley did.
Wiley did, and Matt seconds the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.